Hey everybody, welcome to the Movie Mates podcast for the week of March 23rd, 2020. I'm your host, Anthony DeVitas, alongside my pal, Sean Fott.
Hello, everyone. What did you call me?
Pal,
No. What did you say my name was?
Sean Fott.
No, I thought you said something different from my last name.
What did you think I said?
It doesn't matter.
Is it a bad thing?
Yeah.
Okay. You can tell me after the podcast what you thought I said.
Well, you know what I thought. Or, never mind. Let's go.
You know what is my favorite middle school memory?
I have a good guess.
It's when we were in PE in sixth grade,
Uh-huh.
and our teacher
Yep.
was calling out our names, and he came to you and said Sean Fott, and you said here, and he said Sean Fott. Well, I hope he didn't, and I thought that was the stupidest fucking joke ever.
Well, I've had a lot of weird things said about my last name, so one guy used to call me Sean Fought a Chicken in high school.
Why?
I don't know. He was a funny dude.
Sean Fott, but why a chicken?
I don't know why.
Well, at least people say your name right because it's like an actual word, so you can't get
People
it.
say it wrong a lot.
Oh, do they go Fout?
Fout. I get fout a lot.
Yeah, because they probably think it can't be Fought.
Yeah, which like I understand like it could be differently, but if I was reading off like the names or something,
Hmm.
and I was a teacher or something, I would just guess fought because I'd be like, well, that's
That's how that is.
my easiest guess, and if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, I'd be like, well, you
That's
can
what-
see why I guessed that.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right, let's before we get on to other things, let's start with what we've been up to. Sean, you've been playing some Neo too,
I have.
and how's that going?
Good game, solid.
Has it made you cry yet?
No,
Has it come close?
no,
Oh.
it's tough. I've done like a couple of the main missions and a lot of side missions, maybe like 5 main missions, I think.
Mm-hmm.
4 or 5, yeah, 5, I think. And then a bunch of side missions. And they did an update today that changed all of the mission levels because like it tells you the recommended level to go into that mission as. And I've always been way above these mission levels. Like I was like, these are super low, but I was still like finding them pretty tough. I was like, I guess I just suck. And then they upped them all today because I guess
Like in a game update?
yeah, they did a game update and all of like a
So it
mission
was
level
too
that,
easy?
a mission level that was like 29, they bumped it up to like 49. And I'm like, so you guys just put the wrong number on all the missions.
What?
And like you were like thought these were easier than they would be.
Were they easy though?
No.
Oh, maybe they had the number wrong, but the like actual like coded difficulty correct
Yeah, I'm sure like I mean they all play the same.
still?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I was like in the middle of a mission when that happened. But they just changed the recommended number to go into.
That's bizarre. It's cool though.
Yeah.
How far are you in the story, do you know?
I
Do you have a
don't
guess?
I don't really know. I don't think I'm too far.
How many hours are you?
I don't know. Does Neo tell you?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't think it does. I did hear a spoiler of a boss fight. I don't know if there's spoilers in Neo. Does anyone care?
I'd kind of care if I saw it. If you described it to me, I don't care.
I mean, I haven't seen it. I've just heard about it. But, I'm just going to say it anyway.
Is it giant?
Is it giant?
Yeah, is the boss like
No.
Just-
Basically, there's a boss fight where you fight William from the first game.
that is spoilers, Sean, and you just spoiled that for me. I hate you.
Well, it got spoiled for me.
Ah, damn it. That's pretty awesome though.
Also,
Don't tell me anything about that. I don't know what's what.
I don't know when it happens, so I haven't gotten there yet.
Probably maybe towards the end.
Someone just spoiled that for me.
That's really cool.
But the one thing that's weird about the game is you can change your character's appearance. Like there's the character creation thing at the beginning. You can go back and change your character's appearance like completely. And you can change the gender too.
That's cool.
I started as a guy, I'm now a girl.
Oh, okay. You're just like, screw it, I'm gonna do something different?
I don't know, because when I was starting the game, I was like, well, I want to be a guy or a girl. Like, you can also change your appearance to just William if you want to. There's
That's-
literally a thing that says just be William.
Really?
Yes.
I'm gonna do that.
But
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Wait, that means you can fight William as William.
Probably.
I bet I can look that up on YouTube right now. It's already there.
Yeah, probably. But so I was like, I didn't know to pick a guy or a girl at the beginning. I was like, oh, I'll just pick a guy, whatever. Because it was the first one that popped up. I already started making the character, and I was like, oh wait, I probably could have changed the gender. And then I was like, I don't want to start over. And
Mm.
then I like got a little bit into it, and I was like, I want to see if I can like change my character's appearance. So, like, I can change the gender. I was like, no, I'm just gonna do it. Why not? Because I think it saves like one your guy model and your girl model. So it's like,
Oh,
oh, you can just
so
swap
you.
back and forth if you
Oh,
wanted to.
nice. Okay.
And I'm still figuring out like what weapons I want to use, which is probably a bad idea since I'm already this far in the game.
Yeah, you're probably gonna do that till the end of the game.
I use mostly the dual swords, but I don't know what I want as my secondary weapon.
Mhm.
I've been trying out a lot of them. Some like I'm not a huge fan of the spear or the axe, which were both in the first game. I like just the regular sword,
Mhm.
but that's kind of plain and boring, I feel.
Do you still find the little green guys around?
Yes.
Nice.
And they also have some purple friends.
That's
The
awesome.
green ones are called Kodama, and
Yeah,
the purple ones are called Sudama, I
awesome.
think. Um,
Soon they'll
and
just be like Pikmin, and they'll just be all those colors.
basically,
They
the
they give you wait, they give you lives
no, so
if you collect a certain amount.
you get like special rewards like when you collect them. I have it set so that elixirs, which is like your health thing, drop more frequently
Nice,
when you collect like more of them,
nice.
uh, because you gotta stock up on those health things.
Yeah.
And then for weapons, the dual hatchets are pretty good. Um, the Odachi, the gigantic sword thing, it's pretty good. It's basically plays the same as the regular sword, it's just bigger.
Do you hold it over your shoulder?
It depends on your stance.
Oh, okay.
Um, I've been using the Kasari Gama a lot.
That is,
It's got the like the chain and the
yeah.
sight thing.
Uh-huh.
That one because that I feel like out of any weapon in the game, it breaks an enemy's ki the fastest.
Hmm.
So I feel like if I want to like take down their health, I'll use the swords. But if I want to like take down their ki really fast, I'll use that.
Hmm.
So maybe I'll keep that as my secondary, but I don't know.
So has it essentially been pretty much the same as Neo 1? Like you still pick the level from the map,
Yep,
you go through the level. It's
yep.
probably, I mean, they were kind of open, but not really.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's definitely like side paths where like, oh, I didn't have to go this way.
Hmm.
Also, there's this new mechanic. You know, in Neo One, when you'd fight like an enemy or you'd fight a yokai, and they would leave a little pool of pollution, and you go in there and
Right.
like it would like slow your ki regen or whatever.
There's areas of that, right?
There's just entire areas of
Where it's
that in this
hard.
game. Yes, and the only way to get rid of it is to like kill the enemy at the end.
Jesus. And they're
And
hard.
is there pretty hard? Yeah.
I forgot. When you die, you go back to the little. It's basically the campfire,
You
right?
go to the shrine, yeah,
Right.
and then you have to go back and find your stuff.
Jesus. So if
And
you die in those areas, you still go back to the shrine.
yes,
God damn it.
but
Are they kind of close to them?
not always.
So it's pretty unforgiving sometimes.
It can be, yes.
Jesus.
It also every boss in the game has a move. Like usually happens once if you deplete all of the boss's ki, they will retaliate by making the whole boss arena a polluted area, so your ki comes back slower, and they usually get more aggressive during that time.
Oh my God. That's scary.
Also,
That's
I saw an
intense.
article today that I didn't read it, but the headline was Neo 2 is harder than Sekiro.
When I was reading reviews of it, it sounded like people thought it was.
It's pretty tough.
Is it harder than Sekiro?
There's a lot of like side missions I've done
Hmm.
that I know they did this because well they're side missions so they don't have to do them.
Right. And they made them
Where they're just like unfair.
oh my
Like I was
God.
doing a side mission where you run up to the end and it like closes you in. You're like, all right, this is the final like battle, and they just like send waves of enemies at you, and it's like in Neo, if you get like two enemies on you, even you can get overwhelmed super easily.
Hmm.
So there was like a point where three enemies were just chasing me, and I was like, I literally can't do anything. And the whole area was
Wow.
polluted as well.
Oh my God. All right. The main bosses. Are they awesome?
They're pretty awesome.
Are they hard as fuck?
You know, they had one of them took me a long time. It was like the third main boss, or something
I
like
forgot.
that.
Are there worlds in this game in Neo?
No, There's like main missions and then submissions.
Right. But
Um,
not every main mission has a boss?
no, they all have at least one.
Okay. Well,
Um,
how many main missions have you done? Do you know?
5.
Okay.
So like I think it was the third main mission. There's like this snake thing,
Hmm.
and it has two like little snakes growing out of its side like arms, and that boss was a pain in my ass.
Oh my god.
Um, all the other ones haven't been too bad. I fought one last night that was like a ferret in the forest. You can see a little bit in the trailer. And it's got like little blades and it spins around and it's pretty fast. And it was kind of annoying, but it wasn't too bad. I didn't take me too many tries.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, good stuff.
Good stuff.
I would recommend
Yo 2.
you should play it.
I will definitely play it at some point. I'm probably cry through the whole thing because it's just I feel like in that game you get no like rest. It's just one hard thing after another.
Basically,
And
there's
you
no.
play one level and you're like exhausted and you're like, okay, like I need a break for a second, you know?
Also, there was like a time where I was doing a mission last night, and I went like under this bridge, and I was like walking slowly, and I saw like a little enemy just hiding like on like in the corner where I was like, oh, I see you there. Like you're not
Yeah.
gonna sneak up on me. I got you. And I start like walking under, and then this like snake Medusa thing just drops down from like atop
Oh
the bridge,
my
and then
god.
bites my head off, and I die. And I was like, I guess I wasn't prepared.
Wow. Was it like what was a snake Medusa? Was it like huge and it just fell on top of you?
It's not that big. So there's these like Medusa things that look like they're from God of War.
Right.
They don't have any arms. They just slither around and they can do like the like freezing thing or whatever like you see in
Hmm.
the Medusas do. I don't know what they're called in Japanese, but they have like a grab move where they can like they spin around you and then they like bite your head off.
Jesus. So it's a one hit. Done.
No, it's not a one hit kill, but if you're not at full health, you'll probably die.
Yeah, okay.
And it just dropped down on me, and that like initiated the grab, and it bit my head off. Every enemy kind of has like a grab move.
Great.
There is one guy that like one like big monkey yokai thing. It grabs you, throws you on the ground, and jumps up and down on your face.
Oh
It
my.
just smashes your face in relentlessly. Also, my least favorite thing, that bird bastard with like the little staff is back.
Yes.
You know the enemies I'm talking about.
Yes.
Anybody who's played Neo 1 knows
Oh
those
my
guys. They
God.
suck.
Those are fucking terrible.
The only way
Are they just back and worse than ever?
basically the only way I get past them is like they're not too bad to me, but I can't be aggressive with them. I just have to wait and take the fight super slow.
Oh God. I can't wait to play it, but it's gonna be rough. You been watching anything? You finished Sex Ed last week, so
I did.
did you watch Westworld?
I did watch Westworld.
Nice.
Um,
It was good. I liked it.
I liked it too. I like where it's going. But one of my problems with Westworld, because I wasn't a huge fan of the second season,
Yeah.
is I feel like they don't do their characters very well.
How so?
Because like Dolores, I guess, is kind of the main character,
Well, now she is, yeah.
but I don't really care about Dolores. Like if Dolores died in the next episode, I'd be like, okay, like she's the main character, but I don't really care about her.
It makes you care about Aaron Paul.
And
I
like
feel
literally watching that episode, I was like, Aaron Paul might be my favorite character of this entire series, and he's been in one episode.
Yeah. I like that it's more straightforward now.
Yeah,
Because I was prepared for like, all right, here we go. But it looks like there's like a Nazi world now, or I guess it's called like War World.
yeah, there's something like that.
It's coming like the next episode, and I didn't know the park was still open, or they had multiple parks. I forgot.
I don't really know.
And they show like a tease, and I'm like, oh no, this looks confusing again. Like, just like, I just hope they don't like. Season 2 felt overly confusing to me.
Yes, I liked season 1 quite a bit. I thought season 2 wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
Mhm. Like I feel like they made season 2 confusing because the first one was,
Yeah,
and it's like I don't feel like you need to do that again.
season 2 I think was more confusing.
It was.
and it had a lot of stuff that I feel like that season didn't matter too much. Like there was a lot of stuff that was just kind of like wheel spinning, where they're just like spinning in place, waiting to get to the end,
Yeah.
and just saying kind of confusing things until we get to that point.
hmm Um, I liked how they didn't make like Dolores invincible the entire episode.
Oh yeah,
Because they did manage to like take her down,
she
which
got shot.
which I don't think was part of her plan.
No,
So, um,
I want to know, is Aaron Paul, is he human or is he what are they called? I always want to say replicant, but that's Blade Runner.
I don't know what they're called. They were just, they had a name for them, didn't they, in the park?
I feel like they do.
I don't
Maybe they're
remember.
just androids. I don't know.
It's been a while. I think it's been a couple of years since season 2.
Season 2 was like
2018?
2018 probably.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years.
Because it was season 2 was between season 7 and 8 of Game of Thrones.
Yes, I think so. What I liked was how LA looked futuristic, but not too futuristic.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes in things like that they can go over the top, and it didn't feel like that.
What year is Westworld supposed to be?
I have no idea.
Okay, I just want to make sure
I
I
don't.
wasn't the only one who didn't know.
I just assume it's near future.
Yeah.
But they just never say. They never say what. But
I feel like the show's not great at letting me know. Like, there's a lot of times where I feel like, am I supposed to already know this or do I not know this yet? Like when Aaron Paul was talking to that person like on the phone, I was like, am I supposed to know who this is?
oh yeah, it was his soldier friend, right?
Well, yeah, I knew that, but I was like, is this supposed to have been someone from a previous season?
Oh,
At
I
fir-
never thought that.
oh, because I never know with Westworld.
I
Because I'm
know.
like, did I forget? Is my question, like going into it. And I was like, I don't think so, but I don't want to be the only guy not knowing right now.
Trust me, you're not the only one who is not knowing. Like a lot of people aren't. But yeah, I think there's exciting things to come. I'm assuming it's 10-episode season,
Probably.
so that'll be fun. What else have you been watching?
So I did, okay, so with my father, I did a rewatch of Cowboy Bebop.
Nice.
He'd
Did he like it?
he'd never seen it before, but I've seen it before.
Oh.
And so it's a rewatch for me, for him. And it was good. I feel like that show gets better every time I watch it.
Is that how many seasons is that?
I guess it's just one season. I don't know.
I should probably watch that. It's on Netflix?
No.
It's on Funimation, huh?
I don't know. I just have the Blu-ray.
Oh. Is it not on Netflix?
I don't think so.
I always kind of wanted to watch that because, when an anime is one season, I'm down.
Yeah, it's like 26 episodes, so it's the same as Evangelion.
Okay, nice.
Um,
Because when an anime is 13 seasons, I'm not down.
I feel like they don't even go by seasons at that point. Like,
No, it's just arcs, I guess.
just like, oh, One Piece is at episode 900.
That show's been around since we were very young.
I think it came out in 99.
That's crazy. That is insane.
And they've been going strong, and I've never seen a single episode.
Did your dad like Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, he liked it a lot.
What has he watched other ones?
He
Anime?
sort of. He's seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Nice.
and he's seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I don't know if that counts as an anime, but he's seen
No.
that.
That's still American.
And he's seen Legend of Korra, but that doesn't really count
Also,
either.
yeah,
But that's about it.
that's nice. So did you guys watch all of them together? Or I mean, like, did you sit down and like binge it pretty much?
Yeah, we watched like I don't know, a certain amount of episodes like a night, and then
Mm-hmm.
finished it yesterday, I think.
Nice. Did you say, Dad, let's watch this, or was your dad like, I'm down?
I don't know. We were just kind of looking for something to watch,
Mm-hmm.
because we had like previously we had watched a bunch of other stuff, and also, funnily enough, to prepare for this episode, accidentally, he and I recently rewatched the entire Star Wars saga, except Rise of
9,
Skywalker,
yeah.
because it wasn't out yet. But we saw that in theater, and then like after that, we are like, all right, let's rewatch all of them.
What's your dad's favorite Star Wars movie, since that's kind of relevant to our
I'll
topic
tell
today?
you when we get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, so he was like, "Oh, we need something else to watch," and then um, like he watched The Mandalorian, and then he was like, had heard it be people kind of referenced The Mandalorian and Cowboy Bebop as similar, and then
Oh, okay.
he was like, "Oh, he's like, you have that show, right?" And I was like, "Yeah," and then he was like, "Well, should we watch it?" And he's like, I heard it's kind of like The Mandalorian." I was like, "Yeah, it's a lot better."
Is that in your top 10?
Cowboy Bebop,
Yeah,
like favorite TV shows
sure.
or favorite anime.
Both.
It'd definitely be top 10, probably top 5 favorite anime, and then it'd probably be top 10 favorite TV shows.
Damn. Along with Full Metal.
Yeah.
Nice. How many seasons is Full Metal?
Um, I don't know. That was kind of before they did like seasons of anime, but I want to say it's like 5 parts. There's 64 episodes.
Oh man. They're 30 minutes though, or 20?
Yeah, they're like the same length as Castlevania or whatever.
Nice.
Um, I mean, that's if you watch Brotherhood. If you watch
Mhm.
the original Full Metal, it's like 50 episodes.
Um, yeah, so for what I watched this week, I mean, I watched Westworld and I watched Better Call Saul today. Good thing Hunter's not here because I have not continued in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which I kept meaning to, but I just never got around to it.
I also kept meaning to start it, and I just never did.
We will get there.
We'll get there.
I'm going to watch more this weekend, maybe.
Well, what kept
I'm
me from
trying.
starting it was I was like, I need to watch the movie 1st, and I
Mhm.
kept thinking like, oh, I have enough time for like an episode or two right now. Because I'd be like, oh, I should like watch something before I go to bed.
Yeah,
But then I'd be like, I don't want to be up that long and watch like a movie that's like an hour and 40.
yeah,
So I was like, if it was just the show, I could be like 2 episodes and
yeah.
whatever. Uh, so once I like get that movie out of the way, then I'll hit the ground running. Now, how was Better Call Saul?
That's good.
What season is this?
Season season 5. So 6 is the last one. Next season. They already like confirmed that.
Okay.
It'll lead up to, I assume, Breaking Bad. Um, yeah, it's cool. You see a lot of Gus Fring, which is fun. And who's the guy that? What's his name? I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. The bald one, the old guy,
Mike?
Mike. Yeah, you see a lot of Mike in it too. He gets like, it's fucked up in the
How
series.
does it look? Because they're all like 10 years older now or whatever.
Well, because I haven't watched Breaking Bad in a while, they don't seem older to me.
Because I
Just
didn't
because I
really,
haven't seen them younger.
yeah, I didn't really notice it in El Camino. But like when people
No.
showed me like side by side shots,
Yeah, you could probably tell.
I was like, okay, I can kind of tell.
Yeah. Maybe the guy, I think Jonathan, is his name Jonathan Banks? The guy who plays Mike. I don't. There's probably not much difference,
Yeah,
because when you hit that age, I mean, it's not going to show that much,
yeah.
And I think who plays Gus Fring, you probably can't tell much either.
Yeah, because he was in The Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he looked about the same from what I remember.
Yeah. It's a good show. You should watch it one time or one day on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix right now.
What are the odds that in Westworld season 3, Aaron Paul says bitch?
I'd say pretty high.
I really hope it happens.
Maybe not in the way, in his Breaking Bad way.
That's not what I want, though.
You want in the Breaking Bad way?
Yeah.
I doubt. I don't think so. I don't think we've heard it. We heard him do it in El Camino,
Yeah.
which was great.
And randomly, this is going to show how much random movies I've seen. In the movie Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart and The Rock, Aaron Paul is in that movie as like The Rock's ex-partner or whatever.
I don't remember
who
that at all.
ends up being the bad guy at the end.
I do not
And
remember that at all.
I forget who he calls, but Kevin Hart and The Rock are like standing there at the end. He calls one of them a bitch.
Aaron Paul does?
Yes, and he says it just like Jesse did. We'll YouTube it after
I'm
this.
sure. Okay, yeah, we'll look that up. I'm sure he did. I do not remember him in that movie at all.
In the theater, you were like, nice when that happened. Or something like that.
That's pretty awesome. All right, so for the box office this week, nothing. No, there is something in the box office, but the box office is basically closed after this week.
Onward was number 1, right?
Onward was number 1, and it was the lowest box office in 20 years.
I mean, I can see why.
Which that would put us in 2000. So I wonder why it was so low in just what would have been March 2000. It's really
I don't
random.
know.
Because I would understand if it was like around 9/11 or something, but like I don't even know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's really random. Um, so not really any movie news this week, but in coronavirus movie news, everything is canceled and delayed, and production is halted, and Black Widow was delayed, and Lord of the Rings show was put on delayed.
Was that ever like? I mean, we heard like nothing about that show.
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Well, they were filming it,
Okay.
I guess,
Well,
but now they're not. So we're gonna wait even longer for that show, which will be great. And Witcher season 2 production was halted, which really just kind of stabbed me in the heart. I was like, no,
everything.
everything. It's sad. In game news, coronavirus news, nothing's been delayed yet, so that's a good thing. And they said Cyberpunk is still on track for September, so that's also a good thing.
What I want to know is Last of Us still coming out?
That's a good question.
I really hope so.
I mean, they're all working at home,
Yeah.
working hard to get that game out because we have nothing else to do while we sit in our houses.
I
We
mean,
get to
worst
watch
case
stuff.
scenario, I replay some stuff and I watch some things that I need to watch.
It won't be the end of the world,
You know
but
what we
it'll be
should
sad.
do? This is completely random. You can edit this out if you want to. But your brother,
Okay.
the one you like.
I like them both.
Actually, I guess it should be the one you don't like. Anyway, one of your brothers is posting his top 10 movies on Instagram.
Yes.
Once he's done, we should make a point of watching them all.
Oh no.
Well, the ones we haven't seen.
Okay, that's
Because
fair.
we've seen most of them, I'm assuming.
I think there's a couple I saw on there that I've never seen.
Because he, like, last time I saw him, he was at, like, number 7.
Yes.
And I think I'd seen most of them. I think there was, like, one I hadn't seen.
Yeah. I mean, he likes pretty recent movies for the most part. You're not going to see something on there from, like, the 80s. Well, you might, but I doubt. Back to the Future might be on there, I think.
Well, in one of his honorable mentions, he had Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Which is good. Good movie.
He has a movie on there called The Life Aquatic. I've never heard of that movie.
I neither have I. That was the one I think that was the only one I hadn't seen.
It's with
Bill Murray, right?
Bill Murray, yeah. And I've never in my life heard of that movie.
Which is weird because you live with him.
Well, I meant before he started watching it and he liked it.
Yeah.
But one day he was like, he brought it home or something and was watching. I'm like, what is this? And he said, it's The Life Aquatic. I was like, I've never heard of that in my life.
Have you seen it since then?
No, I still haven't.
Okay.
It's like I think it's like a 2004 movie, maybe.
Yeah, I think I looked it up after he posted that, but I was like, I've never heard of this.
Does it have good ratings?
It has like a 56 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
I mean, that doesn't mean it's bad though. It could be just.
We've seen plenty of good 56 percentages that have made us laugh, and we had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you and I had talked about this before we started the podcast, but Square Enix says that not a lot of copies are going around for Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
So if you pre-ordered it, good luck out there.
I mean, I feel like if you pre-ordered it, your chances of getting it are a lot better than if you were just planning on going and getting it day one.
Probably. If you're planning to brave, I guess, Target, good luck. Best Buy is closing. But I mean, it might be open by April 10th. We don't know.
Yeah, I pre-ordered from GameStop, so we'll see.
Yeah, GameStop's not, well, in California, GameStops are closed, I think.
That's where we are.
That's where we are. But if you're not here, they might be open somewhere, and you might get it, but it's going to be tough.
This is like still a couple weeks away, so we'll see. Anything could happen.
Mm-hmm. And then the biggest thing this week is that the specs have been revealed for the Xbox and the PS5. Basically, just to sum it up, they're similar. The Xbox is slightly more powerful, but the PS5 is going to be faster. So like the loading times on PS5 are going to be pretty like lightning fast. Because Xbox also released a video, which I wish PS5 would have done. Because PS5 just had a conference where they just talked about all these things, but we were never shown any like videos, at least, of these things happening in real time.
Yeah.
But Xbox did, and they played. I think they put out like Gears 5 or something, and they're like, here it is on Xbox One X, which is like the top tier Xbox right now, and then here's the newest Xbox, and it was pretty quick. But I still like could count maybe about 3 to 4 seconds before anything showed up, and I think PS5 is going to be faster than even that, which is going to be crazy.
Huh, that's cool. I mean, also depends on the game.
Yeah, it's going to depend on the game. And also, apparently, the PS5 is only backwards compatible with PS4. and it'll be the top 100 games, top 100 PS4 games at launch.
I mean, that's at launch, so
So that's at launch. We'll get more later. They said they're working on more later. Um, but I imagine the top 100 is probably a lot of Call of Duties and a lot of sports games. And uh,
yeah. But I also think they would want a lot of their big
well, yeah,
exclusives.
all their exclusives are going to be on there, I'm sure. God of War, all that stuff's going to be
So
on
like God of War and Spider-Man, if you want to go back and play
there. Yeah.
those.
So they'll get like the little boost. They didn't really explain what that meant. I assume the only thing I can think of is load times for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, it could use a little bit of a boost. Bloodborne had kind of long load times.
Yeah, but they fixed it in a patch.
That's true. It's still kind of
It's
long
still
though.
long, but they did fix
Some of
it.
these are going to be like a second. Also, one thing I read that was interesting. So in like let's say Uncharted or God of War, a lot of times, even actually they do this a lot in Jedi Fallen Order, where you do a lot of the whole squeezing in between tight areas, and they use that to mask loading up the next area.
Yeah, that
So,
makes sense.
so apparently, like in this next generation, we won't have to do stuff like that anymore. It'll just like it'll be a seamless thing. I don't know like if that was created to, you know, mask that or they just like that kind of animation or whatever.
Yeah.
But apparently that like masks a lot of the loading of the next area is when you squeeze in and then it lets you sometimes it lets you control it, sometimes it doesn't. Um,
No, that makes
but I
sense.
thought that with the PS5, like you won't have to do that anymore. Apparently,
Yeah,
it'll
because
just
you
be
always gotta wonder when Jedi Fallen Order, like, why are you squeezing through like all those like little vines and dunking underneath them? You have a
yeah.
lightsaber. Just
There's a lot of
give them
that.
a little cutting.
There's a lot of that to just yeah. So apparently PS5 will load so fast, like stuff like that won't happen, like won't even matter. So that's pretty cool. Just a little thing.
Are you gonna still gonna get both?
Yeah, I get both.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know why I asked that. I knew that.
if they both come out this year, that's an if. I'll probably just get the PS5 first, then I'll hold off for Xbox maybe like next year or some point. If they don't both come out, then I get nothing. If only the Xbox comes out, I probably will just buy the Xbox and say screw it and play whatever comes out.
I mean, there's because I think like Halo is supposed to be a launch title.
Yeah, so I'll play Halo but if something like Assassin's Creed comes out, like let's say they come out and then Sony's like, hey, PS5 is not coming out until like April or May of next year. I'll be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna play Assassin's Creed now because I don't want to have to like have all these games and hoard up all these games and be like, well, I don't want to touch any of these until I get a PS5, and then I get a PS5 and then I'm drowning.
Well, you
I
could
don't
always
like
get it
dread.
on a PS4 because it would also probably be get playable on a PS5 if that's what you
That's
wanted.
true. But like I meant like when it comes out, I want to play it at that point because I just don't want to have all these things that I'm like because
Yeah,
people like
that
to
makes
drown in
sense.
games, but I don't really like to drown in games because I feel like I have to rush through them, and then I'm like, oh my god, I have all these other things to play, and I don't
I
get to
don't like
like,
the drowning games either, but I do.
yeah, it happens sometimes. So I would maybe just, I like to get my trophies, but if
Well,
it
like if
happens,
you wanted your trophies, I'd say you could always just get it on PS4 and then it would still be playable on PS5.
yeah, but we'll see. We'll see when it comes out. So this week we obviously don't have. Oh my god, my computer just wigged out on me.
Are we
Um,
still recording?
we are still recording.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So we don't have a movie this week, but I thought maybe we could do something special and rank the Skywalker Saga, 1 through 9, also Solo, also Rogue One.
So all Star Wars movies.
I mean, pretty much.
Yes.
I guess that is all of them,
Yeah,
right?
that's all of them.
That's all of them.
That's
But
all
I
11
mean,
of them.
there's still the Skywalker Saga.
Kind of.
It
I mean,
counts.
I feel like the Skywalker Saga, like if you want to get technical, would just be 1 through 9, and Rogue One and Solo are like offshoots, but they tap in within the Skywalker Saga.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, they count for
They
the most
count
part.
enough.
They count enough.
All right.
Um, so I thought it'd be easy. We start with the bottom.
Okay.
Um,
Are we ranking these together or separately? 'Cause I'm kind of interested to know what like your actual rank would be.
so we'll do it. We'll do it together, and then we can talk about what maybe we'd put uh,
Or unless you
our
want to
thoughts.
do like we each give our individual list and then we make a list together,
Okay, we can do that.
or we could do it the other way around where we make a list together and then give our own rankings
Let's
then.
make it together and then we'll do it after.
Okay.
Um, so let's start from the bottom because that's the easiest.
Okay.
I think it would probably be Attack of the Clones.
Okay. That's fair. I would say Solo
Okay.
because it's
Uh,
just I don't think it's a bad movie. Like for starters, I don't dislike any of the Star Wars movies.
hmm
I enjoy them all, but just some of them I have some issues with or
uh-huh.
whatever. But Solo for me is probably just the most forgettable
hmm
to where like I watch it and there's nothing in that movie I hate, but it's just
It
kind of
just kind of, I guess the movie feels forced, right?
yeah, like I never wanted a
It
young
just
Han Solo
exists.
movie.
Yeah,
And
for
Alden
no
Ehrenreich
reason.
is fine. I don't have an issue with his performance. The only thing I really kind of dislike in that movie is how he gets his name.
hmm
But other than that, like the movie's just kind of forgettable.
I feel like
Or like,
I thought about putting Solo last, but I feel like even then it's still a not a well made, but like a decently made movie,
yeah,
you know, and like even the acting's good. Like if you compare the acting to Clone or to
Attack of the
the
Clones.
Attack of the Clones, overall across the board it's better, you know.
Yeah.
But as far as like excitement, maybe Attack of the Clones is, you know,
Well, one thing I think Attack of the Clones has going for it is it's like kind of an essential part of the prequel trilogy, being
hmm
just one of the movies that's
that
there.
was the other thing.
So like
It spawned the Clone Wars, and it's
it
important.
matters more.
Yeah.
Like Solo, if you were watching the Star Wars movies and you watch Attack of the Clones, like you skip Attack of the Clones, you're gonna be missing a key part. Or like if you
Yeah.
skip Solo,
You won't miss
we
anything.
won't miss anything. Like it doesn't really matter.
hmm All right, that's fair.
I mean,
We'll
well,
we'll put Solo last.
all right,
I'm good. I'm good with that. Wait, okay, how many are there? 11?
11.
Yeah. Um. So then I would say, what would you say 10 would be?
That's difficult. I mean, did you want Attack of the Clones?
I would say so, unless you think something is. I mean, I don't know if Phantom Menace is worse than that movie,
I
just for the
personally
ending alone.
like. I think they're kind of equal, but I think if you make me put one over the other, I will say Phantom Menace is
Yeah.
better.
So
Um,
I'd put Attack of the
just
Clones.
because I like the ending fight's cool. I think Qui-Gon is really a cool character.
Yeah.
And I understand that he had to die in the story. Because I feel
Unfortunately.
like if he trained Anakin, things probably have gone differently.
hmm
Or if, like he had both Anakin and Obi-Wan training him, things might have gone differently.
hmm
But yeah, I would.
And Obi-Wan's cool in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan's cool in all of them.
Got a short Padawan haircut.
Yep,
Yeah. Um, is that a thing all of them do?
I think so.
They have short hair and then they grow it out when they become like a
Well, they
Jedi
have like
master.
short hair and they have the little braid.
Right.
And then
Did Anakin do that? He did do that.
yes, he did have that in Attack of the Clones.
Wait, hold on. Well, he still has short hair though.
In Attack of the Clones?
Wait. No, and
Revenge of the Sith, he has like
did,
long hair.
he does.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's kind of like mine.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, not exactly,
It
but
wasn't like
similar.
Obi-Wan long, or it wasn't like Qui-Gon
Yeah,
long.
it's not
Yeah,
like Qui-Gon long.
yeah.
And then Obi-Wan's was kind of long in Attack of the Clones, and they cut it a little bit in Revenge of the Sith
Right,
because they wanted it to look like Alec Guinness in A New Hope.
right, right. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that might have been a Ewan McGregor choice as well, that he wanted to look like
his
Alec
hair
Guinness.
looks the best in that movie.
Yeah,
I feel like. So yeah, 9 would be Phantom Menace because I honestly couldn't put anything else in that spot, in the number 9 spot.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. I'll give that to you. Hunter
Um,
would hate this list, by the way. He loves the Phantom Menace.
I don't know if it's because I've seen it too many times, and I don't hate the midichlorian thing
No, I don't
like
hate
a
that
lot of
either.
people do.
It's also like they don't go that in depth with it. Like it doesn't ruin anything.
Yeah, and even the CGI is not terrible.
It's also 1999.
Yeah, but it just has. First of all, it gave us Jar Jar, who I pretty much despise.
I don't hate him as much as everyone else does, mainly because he's just in one movie. He's a little bit in
Kind
the
of.
other two,
The
but
the problem is he is in Clone Wars, not a lot, but a little bit, and you're just like, I don't need this guy right now,
also I
you know.
give that guy, I think his name's Ahmed Best, a lot of credit because he did a lot, like a lot of motion capture stuff, kind of like they did with Andy Serkis for Gollum.
Uh-huh.
And Andy Serkis gets like all the credit for like pioneering that thing. Where like he still did a good job doing that with Jar Jar. Like his
He did
character's
he did
just
all those crazy arm movements and shit.
yeah, he was like in this suit and he had this like suit on that had a Jar Jar like head on top of his because
Stop.
Jar Jar was taller than him.
Oh my
So
god.
like he had to walk around like that and
Oh man.
do like all those movements. From what I know,
Oh god. That's awesome though. He did the voice too?
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the end of the movie saves it for me for sure. The pod racing stuff's not so bad.
a lot of people don't like it. I think it's fine. It's whatever.
Yeah. The kid that plays Anakin is a little annoying, but
I mean,
he's
he's
not.
also supposed to be 9, so I'll give that to him.
Yeah.
Like,
So the movie overall is like it's fine, but when you stack it up against like the better Star Wars movies, there are parts of it that are just kind of boring, you know.
yeah,
It's
that's
just,
fair.
everyone really when everyone talks about Phantom Menace, they talk about the end.
Yeah,
Like that's all anyone ever cares about because that's the coolest part.
good lightsaber fight.
It is good. It's one of the best.
It is at least top 5, probably top 3.
So this next part is going to be difficult.
Okay.
I feel like that was the easier part. Now we have to decide what to put number 8. And
Can I make a suggestion?
yes,
Rise of Skywalker.
that is actually exactly what I was going to say. Um, many people, not many people, some people will not like it down here this far.
Where is that supposed? Is it supposed to be higher up?
Some people really like The Rise of Skywalker. In my opinion, it tried to do too much fixing of The Last Jedi.
I feel like it should have gone with the flow more. Like it should
Yeah,
have built off the Last Jedi instead of fight with the Last Jedi.
yeah, exactly. And it just came off as very unsatisfying.
It's a very nostalgia-based movie, to where it's
But it does,
extremely similar to Return of the Jedi.
yeah, and it just doesn't even work really. A lot of the stuff in the endings,
I think it's kind of a corny ending.
it's a very corny ending.
I will say this: sequel trilogy is 2 for 2 for awkward kisses.
Uh, what was the other one?
Finn and Rose.
Oh Jesus! See, that's why I didn't remember it because I purged it from my mind
Yep.
altogether. Garbage. Um, it's just an unsatisfying movie. And no matter what, they tried to, bring back Harrison Ford for like a cool moment, and it worked kind of.
But it doesn't make any sense.
A lot of it doesn't make any sense. And the only reason, I know some people who would put even The Last Jedi at last on this list,
Someone who's absent this week.
maybe. But The Last Jedi as a movie is still good.
Yes.
In the trilogy, it fucked everything up. But it would still,
I wonder how much it did. I'll get to it when we talk about Force Awakens. But I have a question. I don't know what it is. Or also, did you hear about that Leia thing that they revealed like today or something? I don't know if it was today, but it was recently.
I saw something was revealed for Star Wars, but I didn't click on it.
Well, it wasn't like a big thing, and I don't know when they said this, but it was basically that a Disney, I don't know if it was Kathleen Kennedy or but someone who works at Star Wars Lucasfilm right now said that after her training, Leia was like much more powerful than Luke Skywalker.
I thought we already knew that.
But like, I mean, I was like, that just seems like kind of a retcon. Like you want Leia to be more powerful, even though we never see her do anything that would suggest that.
Yeah.
If you're just kind of saying.
You know what that reminds me of a lot? It reminds me of the whole Dumbledore's gay thing.
Yeah.
Or like all these things J.K. Rowling said like afterwards that were never really hinted at.
Like it doesn't matter. Like
No.
Dumbledore he can be gay. It doesn't matter if he is or isn't because it's not brought up in the book at all.
Yeah. But it's all like an afterthought for kind of no reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, we didn't need to know that, and that doesn't really add anything to
It's
anything.
like, well, let's say Leia is, even though I would say she's not because we never see it.
Mm-hmm. Now, if they made like maybe a comic or a game or even another movie that has Leia in it, and she shows us this power, then I guess that's
Well, they
different.
also say in Rise of Skywalker she gave it up because she thought saw like the death of her son or whatever.
Okay.
So that would say to me that she never like Luke's like, oh, when she got to the end of her training, she decided to stop. So I'm like, so she didn't really do anything with it.
Yeah. Where are all these moments where, well, yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
never,
it's kind of like to me, I'm like, they're just saying something to have a thing.
yeah, there's no proof really.
Yeah, there's nothing in the story
There's
that
nothing
makes
to
me go,
base it off of.
yes.
That's
Also, you
that's
know what
weird.
moment I do not like in Rise of Skywalker?
What is that?
There's quite a few of them, but one of them at the very end when she says Rey Skywalker as her name. That is one of my least favorite moments in the film.
Because she took the name that's not hers.
Not even that. I just don't understand why she picks that name because
Well,
that
because he's
it's
the only one that means anything to her, I guess.
no because I feel like if she wants to pick a name that would fit her, like it fits doesn't fit the story. I feel like she picks Skywalker because it's nostalgia for everyone,
Yeah,
and she goes to Tatooine to do it because it's nostalgia for everyone.
yeah,
Why like, she buries their lightsabers there? Leia had only been there when she got enslaved by Jabba the Hutt, and Luke doesn't really have fond memories of growing up there.
exactly.
But she like if she said I'm Rey Organa and like took Leia's name because she has a better relationship with Leia than she does with
That's
Luke.
true. Yeah, the whole
And
time she was arguing with Luke
and
almost.
her all she knows about the Skywalkers are there was Anakin Skywalker who turned evil and screwed up everything in the galaxy, and Luke Skywalker who I had a very complicated relationship with for a couple days.
Honestly, why would you want to be? Why would you want to be associated with that name? Because, like, I mean, everyone. I mean, yeah, Luke's a hero. Then he turns out to kind of be kind of a little bit of a douche.
Yeah,
And then Leia, I guess, is a hero to the end. And
yeah,
then Anakin is Darth Vader,
yeah.
who's pretty much the worst person in the whole galaxy. I don't think anyone ever beat him.
Oh, probably the Emperor.
Well, yeah, the Emperor, but Darth Vader was always a cooler villain, in my opinion.
Yeah, but he
Um,
wasn't a worse person.
no, I mean, well, I mean, who knows the Emperor's lore?
Yeah, but I just when I saw that, I'm like she like I don't understand why she picked Skywalker other than the audience like that name.
Yeah, I feel like even the audience was like, what?
Well, yeah, but I feel like that's their thought was the audience will
Yeah,
like this.
it was a corny moment,
Yeah,
just for the sake
I
of
like
nostalgia.
the moment better, like it towards the beginning of the movie when that little kid's like, "Oh, what's your name?" and she's like, "I'm Ray," and then C-3PO's like, "Oh, she wants to know your last name because we're on planet. Tell everyone your last name." And then she's like, "Just Ray." I'm like, that was a more powerful moment to me than Ray Skywalker.
They should have just kept it like that.
Yeah,
They shouldn't even had the moment at the end.
yeah. Anyway, we should move on.
So what would go above Rise of Skywalker?
Uh,
I would maybe put Last Jedi, but I don't know what you would say.
um,
If you're gonna say Rogue One, I can't put Rogue One here.
I know you like Rogue One a lot, so I wasn't gonna say that.
Rogue One's got to go higher.
I'd say it's got to be between Last Jedi and Force Awakens.
Hmm. See, that's a tough one because I feel like The Last Jedi is a better made movie
I agree.
overall.
I think
Not
almost in
just completely divorced from what it does to the trilogy.
yes,
It is a better made
as
movie.
three separate movies, The Last Jedi I think is the best of the three.
Yes.
Um,
Just filmmaking wise.
I think it has the best. My favorite action scenes of the entire trilogy are in that movie. Like the scene at the beginning when they destroy the dreadnought or whatever it's called.
Uh-huh.
I think that's a cool scene.
Hmm.
The scene in the throne room is pretty cool.
There is just a little bit of
Also, the scene at the end when Chewie's like flying through those mines or whatever.
mhm.
So
That's
nice
good stuff.
flying. Nice flying, Chewie.
The only thing that I don't really like in Last Jedi is there is some awkward humor that I
Yeah.
feel like JJ does better in Force Awakens. There's also awkward humor I feel like in Rise of Skywalker, but I feel like JJ does it better in Force Awakens. Everything Force Awakens just feels very homey. Like,
Well, one of my
it's like
problems with Force Awakens, which Force Awakens might be my most anticipated movie of all time, like going to the theater.
Yes, it
Um,
definitely was. Maybe Endgame. They're on the same
maybe
level.
it was different
Sure.
because Endgame was the end of this entire thing that I had watched for 11 years at that point.
And we
Um,
had Infinity War the year before.
yeah, but Star Wars, like with Force Awakens, it was like Star Wars is back.
Yeah,
The original characters are back. I
yeah,
can't wait to see what happens.
yeah.
So it was a different type of anticipation.
Mhm.
Um, but that's why I said maybe my most anticipated
Mhm.
movie, but it's definitely up there. Um, and it's not as good as I want it to be, but I still have a great time watching it when I do.
Mhm.
But
Force
one of my
Awakens,
problems with it is it sets up a lot of stuff. Like
and then it
after the
goes
movie
nowhere.
ends, you have like so many questions about it, and one of the problems is there wasn't answers to those. Like I don't think from what we've seen with this trilogy, I don't think Disney had the answers to those questions.
No, they didn't.
And so it makes me go, I know a lot of people like to blame Ryan Johnson for The Last Jedi, but it makes me go, they handed him this thing, and he goes, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm just going to have to answer the questions that I think are important and do what I think.
Mhm.
Since they just went, here's where the story left off, go ahead.
Yeah, and they didn't give him any hints.
Yeah, so it was kind of
But I
like,
mean, I guess JJ had a script.
or he had a something, I don't exactly know.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really
Um, but nothing's really confirmed. But from what
knows.
they've made it seem like is they didn't really have a plan. So JJ sets up this whole mystery box thing with all these different things, and then doesn't give us much to go off of, and
Mhm.
then that's why The Last Jedi feels, I think, disconnected a little bit, is because they weren't connected as like
Yeah,
working
from
together.
the beginning. Yeah.
Um,
The only thing I think would give Last Jedi the edge is that it wasn't a copy of anything, and
yes.
Force Awakens kind of ended up being a copy of A New Hope. The second they introduced another Death Star, I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Well, Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker are kind of a copy of A New Hope and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
And there are some similarities to Empire Strikes Back and Last Jedi, but not that much. It
right.
feels the most original out of the three.
Yeah, even if it is,
And there's
making
still like
bold decisions.
problems, I think, in The Last Jedi. I don't think it's a perfect movie by any stretch. I
No,
know people like to be like, it's the worst Star Wars movie or it's the best.
it's neither of
It's
those.
neither of those to me.
It is a well-made movie though. So
I think
I would put Force Awakens, I guess, below
you know what's one problem I have with Rey,
what?
and they kind of did a little bit. They tried to fix this, I think, in The Last Jedi a little bit. But her character, being the main character of the trilogy, her whole like backstory and everything about her is so like secretive
Hmm.
that I feel like by the end of Rise of Skywalker, I'm like, I feel like Rey's story just kind of
We
hit its
we
stride,
we learned nothing
and
about
I
her.
feel like I learned nothing about her the entire time.
Yeah,
Where like her character arc, I feel like just hit like a good like starting point
she
at
definitely
the
needed
end of
more.
Rise of Skywalker. So I'm like, this is where you should have hit like at the end of the first movie and
Hmm.
been like, let's go from here.
Yeah,
Because I
I
feel like
mean,
she didn't progress or do anything through the trilogy
yeah,
because they wanted to keep her origin a secret.
yeah. And then they kept it too much of a secret until it was too late, and then it was
And I know like with
not a payoff.
Ryan Johnson, he said he purposely picked it to be nobody because he was like, that's the worst possible thing she could have heard.
Right.
He's like, and he like did some talk about it or whatever, and he's like, this is why I did it, and her parents are nobody because the theme of the story is her having, it doesn't matter who your parents are, she
Yeah.
can be great because she's Rey.
Hmm.
And then JJ was like, well, we don't want that.
I actually read an article today that said Ryan Johnson wished he had had a test screening
I read that too.
for that movie.
I don't think it
Um,
would have helped
I don't think so either.
because I think one of the biggest problems with that movie is some of the stuff with Luke, and I don't think they could have fixed it.
No. Um, but I'm telling you, the one moment that pisses me off, well, the trilogy as a whole, now that we've seen Rise of Skywalker, what pisses me off is the handing of Luke the lightsaber, the throwing of the lightsaber in Last Jedi,
Yeah.
and then the subsequent in Rise of Skywalker being like, no, don't get rid of this
Well,
from
what
Luke.
pisses me off
And I'm like,
more,
this is the stupidest arc, like small arc of this, like
yeah,
ever. Like
one
you
thing
guys screwed it,
that I just didn't get is that lightsaber breaks in The Last Jedi.
Right.
And I was like, Now it's time for Rey to come into her own and make her own lightsaber.
Mhm.
Like in Return of the Jedi, Luke comes back and he's got his green lightsaber.
Right.
And you're like, this is not his father's lightsaber anymore. He got his own lightsaber. And then inexplicably, it's just fixed from The Last Jedi. And
Yep.
I know like there's the concept art of Colin Trevorrow or Trevorrow, however you actually say it. I've heard it said both ways in interviews, so I don't know.
Jurassic World director.
Yes, where he was going to give her like a double-bladed blue lightsaber,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, that would have been cool because it's her own thing. It makes Rey her own character more
Right.
instead of just using Luke and Anakin's lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, have you noticed, chronologically anyway, 3 out of the last 4 movies end with 3 Force users in a room. They're looking out a window at the Rebel fleet being destroyed, and the bad guy's like, "Join me, and I'll save the fleet."
Oh my God.
And I heard that one of the reasons they did that in Last Jedi, and kind of in the middle too, is to like make it so they had to do something different at the end of this trilogy, and then they just did it again. So there was like just no planning in this trilogy at all.
Oh, they screwed it all.
But all right, so what are we ordering them? Are we doing Force Awakens then Last Jedi?
I did Force Awakens 7, Last Jedi 6.
Okay, okay.
It beats it out just because of, I mean, all those things we mentioned, and it's just a better made movie, even though Force Awakens is very, it's a feel good movie for
It
sure.
is a feel good movie.
And sometimes I feel like just watching Force Awakens over Last Jedi, just because it's nice to see what could have been,
Yes.
you know. And also like the scene where Han Solo dies is
That's a good scene.
well done, all that stuff.
And they all have good scenes in them, like the part when Luke Skywalker faces down Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi,
Hmm.
and he's like, everything you just said was wrong. I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
All right, number 5. We are now missing the original trilogy.
Rogue One and Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
What are you thinking?
what What are you thinking? Because I feel like maybe I don't want to say Revenge of the Sith, but I do at the same time, just because it's still a part of the prequel trilogy, and there are still moments that aren't great, but it's also pretty epic, and the ending is epic, and it's actually done pretty well, and is my favorite of the prequel trilogy.
It's also my favorite of the prequel trilogy.
So I don't know if I want to do that.
It also has the best lightsaber fight out of any movie.
It's true.
Even if it's not your like personal favorite, it's the best one.
Part of me feels like putting A New Hope,
Okay.
because A New Hope is good and it's classic, but I don't know. It's tough to rank these now. And even Return of the Jedi, I'm not overly fond of. Really, it's just the first two that I like a lot.
I mean, rewatching them, A New Hope is pretty good because I watched it not too long ago.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
of course, yeah, it still holds up. Well, what's your favorite of the original?
We'll get to that when I give my list. It's a surprise.
Okay.
I gotta keep the suspense.
So I'd say it'd be between Revenge of the Sith and I guess A New Hope.
I'm gonna say A New Hope is better than Revenge of the Sith. They also kicked off Star Wars.
I know. Yeah, you can't beat it. Even like an epic ending of, you know,
We only got that epic ending because A New Hope happened.
that's true.
So
That is very true.
I think A New Hope is better.
Okay, well, we're gonna put Revenge of the Sith, just because I feel like it fits nicely there.
Also, all decisions are final. If anyone disagrees, you are wrong unless you think differently than you're right.
So now we have the original trilogy and Rogue One.
Yes.
If you want to put Rogue One here, that's fine by me.
I would put Rogue One here.
Okay. I still think I like it more than at least A New Hope. and Return. But I feel like just for compromise is probably um, the best place to put it. Um, because Rogue One is just it's good. It's a good Star Wars movie for not having very many lightsabers.
It has one at the end.
It has one at the end,
But
and that
Solo has zero.
Solo zero, and uh, and that ending is pretty awesome,
The
and it leads up to uh, yeah, the Darth Vader
the
part,
Darth Vader scene.
where it leads up to
A New Hope.
I Do Hope pretty well, and also the movie's just solid,
It is a solid
you
movie.
know, and I mean yeah, it can be a little bit boring in the beginning. I'll give people that, but I think once they get going to like when they're trying to get the plans, um,
That
that
last like third of the movie.
yeah, that part's all that's really good. I feel like.
That movie has a very good sense of scale. Like the Death Star looks like huge next to the Star
Yeah,
Destroyers there, and
exactly. Yeah,
or like the AT-ATs
yeah.
look like when they're coming out of like the forest at the
Mhm.
last battle. Like they look huge next to those people.
And it's cool getting to see the rebels fight because you never really get to.
You
Like,
do a little bit like on Hoth and stuff.
yeah, I mean, you get to see them fight, but it's always focused on the main
But yeah,
characters.
because we don't have necessarily a main character in
Yeah,
this movie
and
because they all die.
yeah, because they all die, which I think is kind of cool too.
That is cool.
It's kind of cool knowing that they're all doomed. Um,
I mean, it's a fitting end because we never see them again,
yeah.
unless there was Rogue 2.
Also, the beach scene at the end, I think, when they're like holding each other,
Yeah.
Jyn Erso and I forget his name.
Cassian?
Yeah, that's the one they're doing a show about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be before Rogue One, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, because he's
Obviously,
dead.
obviously, because he's dead.
What's that actor's name? Diego Luna, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's cool. Um, yeah, I think that's a good spot to put it. So now we have the original trilogy.
Okay.
I think Empire Strikes Back goes the top,
Okay. And then what else are you thinking?
and then I'm thinking, uh, what are you thinking?
I can do Empire at the top, and then um,
It's 4 and 6. I can't decide between.
I'll say uh 6/4 in my opinion, but I can
Why
be
is that?
swayed.
Why do you think 6/4?
I mean 4 did start this whole thing off, so as I mentioned earlier, but I think 6 also has a very good ending
Mm-hmm.
to the trilogy, to where I think um like the cliffhanger ending of 5 works well because 6 ends well. Because if you went back and be like, oh, look at this like cliffhanger ending, and we know like this story like shoots itself in the foot later,
Mm-hmm.
people wouldn't like that ending probably. They
Yeah.
probably wouldn't care about the Empire Strikes Back.
And Darth Vader's redeemed, and
Yeah,
yeah,
and because like there's like look at Game of Thrones. There's a lot of good stuff in Game of Thrones, but no one cares now
yeah,
because
they're all soured because the ending.
the ending sucked. So I think
Still, in
that's
my opinion, though, I mean, it does kind of sour the whole show,
it's still
but
like 90% a good show.
there's still the rest of the show is still great.
Just season 7 was a little weaker,
Mm-hmm.
and then season 8 really shot itself in the foot. Um, but because of that ending, people just like do not talk about Game of Thrones anymore. It was the biggest show in the world for years,
Yeah.
and no one mentions it.
It's crazy how one little thing can like
I mean, I guess you ruined the most important part, but
the ending, which is what everyone was looking forward to. Maybe if it had been done.
yeah,
So
maybe. Or maybe if they
George
cared.
R. R. Martin hunker down now and get it done. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be the same anyway, so it doesn't
No.
matter. But all right, so our list here is we'll start from the bottom. We have Solo at number 11th, and then 10 Attack of the Clones, 9 The Phantom Menace, 8 Rise of Skywalker, 7 Force Awakens, 6 Last Jedi, 5 Revenge of the Sith, 4 Rogue One, 3 A New Hope, 2 Return of the Jedi, and 1 Empire Strikes Back. I'd say that's pretty
solid.
That's pretty solid there. Yeah, I mean, like, you can make some like,
You could definitely make arguments for any of them, pretty much.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I wouldn't say you probably can't make like people who want to make arguments for like Attack of the Clones being like the best, like those don't really exist.
No, but you could make arguments for it being higher.
Sure, yeah.
But I mean, if people want to say
Also, the Jedi battle in the pit,
it's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
especially for like 2002.
Yeah, that's like a cool idea that I feel like would work pretty awesome now.
I mean, it could have been like the Endgame battle or the battle in Infinity War
Hmm.
now if they had the technology. That's one thing about the sequel trilogy. Not a lot of cool lightsaber action.
I know, and that's why it's low on the list.
Yeah,
That's why it's low on the list. He screwed up. Even though Rogue One doesn't have any, like, it still uses it correctly, the correct amount
yes.
for that
Well,
movie.
because the lightsaber scene in that movie is really cool.
Yeah. You know what the best part is when he like runs his lightsaber on the ceiling.
Oh yeah, he like pushes that guy to the ceiling and then he like comes away and just gives him a
Oh,
swipe in
it's
half.
so good. It's honestly some of the most brutal lightsaber
That's
action
probably the most intense Star Wars
moment.
movie.
Yeah. Especially for like a Disney movie, it is he is menacing
I
in that
know that
moment.
movie went through a lot of trouble while making it, and
But
the
it
director like they did reshoots with him and stuff
mhm.
or however things went down,
but it came out the other end okay.
but it worked out pretty well.
Yeah. Good for them. I mean, to the point where it's actually a lot of people's like favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
And that could be also in reaction to this trilogy and how much a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
Uh, but so before I ask you what your list is, what is your dad's favorite?
Well,
Actually, what is his least favorite? Do you know that one?
I think so because I recently gave him my list of best to worst,
Hmm.
and we basically agreed on everything.
Okay.
So if I was to tell
Then
you
you'd be
what
telling you.
his, I'd
Okay,
be
so
telling you
just
mine.
just tell me mine.
You go first because I feel like I'm going to be the odd one out here and
Um,
have some weird opinions.
I would say not much has changed from this one. I'd probably, I don't know. We made good arguments for why Solo should be at the bottom, but some part of me still puts Attack of the Clones just because some of that dialogue is not good.
I'm sure. I mean, whatever you think.
You
It's
know,
your opinion.
it's just not good stuff. The As far as like lightsaber action goes, there's some good stuff in there, and the Yoda and Dooku fight is pretty decent,
Yeah.
but it's just I feel like it's the most forgettable, honestly. Um, So I'd maybe put that one at below Solo, but those are kind of interchangeable for me. I'd put Phantom Menace where it is, and I put Rise of Skywalker where it is. I'd maybe put Force Awakens over Last Jedi,
Yeah.
just because of the whole, just because it's good at nostalgia that movie, and it's way better at it than Rise of Skywalker is.
Yep.
Um, but those are also kind of interchangeable. Um, Revenge of the Sith is good where it is, and then I'd probably move Rogue One to two, and I'd move maybe A New Hope when we Return the Jedi down. But that'd pretty much be it.
Would you keep uh, A New Hope and Return of the Jedi in the same order, or would A New Hope be better than Return of the Jedi?
No, I'd keep them in the same order. I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Empire's still number one.
Yeah. Just because Return of the Jedi has better. A New Hope is so old, and some of that lightsaber fights is just like.
The lightsaber fight in Return of the Jedi is actually pretty good. Like it still holds up pretty well.
Yeah. So
they definitely you see a good progression of lightsaber fights throughout that trilogy
Yeah.
of like them getting better.
Yeah, for sure. The New Hope lightsaber fights not great.
No.
When they're kind of just swinging it against each other.
When I rewatched it, it's better than I remember it being.
Yeah.
Like, and it's cool because like it's the first lightsaber fight ever. And it's Anakin
It's a
and
cool
Obi-Wan.
moment. Yeah.
But definitely you're like, these were heavy props.
Yeah,
I can tell.
All right, so let's hear it.
All right, it's a bit different. You might want to sit down because you're going to be a little shocked.
Okay, let's start with 11.
Solo is probably going to be my bottom.
Okay.
Then Rise of Skywalker.
Savage. You'd put Attack of the Clones over Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, my savageness is.
It's okay.
This is going to be bad. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
So it's Solo, Rise of Skywalker. I'm sorry, all Rise of Skywalker fans. Then I'm really sorry.
Okay, would you put it that low because it just basically ruined so many things?
Yeah, I really don't like that the Emperor came back.
Yeah. Did you like that idea when they did it in the trailer?
No.
Okay.
When they first announced that Ian McDiarmid would be coming back as the Emperor, I was like, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing that ruins it for me is there's so much in that movie that I think just kind of ruins the other Star Wars movies.
Yes.
Like Rey brings back Ben Solo from the dead, basically, and he does the same to her. And
Hmm.
then the entire reason Anakin became
The kiss is
evil,
awkward.
yes, the kiss is awkward, but in the prequel trilogy, the entire reason Anakin became evil is because he couldn't stop the people he loved from dying.
Yeah.
And then Rey just is like, "Oh, I know how to do that," and Ben Solo's like, "I know how to do that."
Yeah.
And then his whole character arc ends with him killing the Emperor,
Uh-huh.
and then the Emperor's just back.
Oh God. And there's so many plot holes and unexplained things.
And I know they explain it in the book that he's a clone or whatever. I don't care. It's not in the movie.
Yeah.
And even still, I don't care.
Before you go on, I just want to say that I think still, to this day, missed opportunity just making it everybody, all the Jedi's voices. When you could have,
Oh yeah,
you had an opportunity to bring so many people together like they did for Avengers and have them be Force Ghosts standing there. And
and
it would have made that moment, even though the moment is kind of corny or dumb or it doesn't make much sense, it would have made it a lot better.
there
Just
was
that simple thing.
also a that came from an idea from George Lucas actually. There
What
was
did?
an idea in the original script for Return of the Jedi that Luke was going to get help from Force Ghost Obi-Wan, Force Ghost Yoda to fight the
Okay.
Emperor, and they're all going to team up and fight the Emperor at the end.
I'm glad that didn't
And
happen.
then he was like, "Well, that doesn't really work with the story as much because it's more about father-son thing,
Yeah.
Anakin redeeming himself." He's like, "So I'm going to scrap that," but it was still like an idea.
Uh-huh.
So they were like, "Let's take that idea and put it in Rise of Skywalker."
Mm-hmm.
But I was like,
Because nostalgia.
in Return of the Jedi, they were supposed to actually show up and be physically present. You would see them,
Yes.
not just hear their voices.
Hmm.
So I was like, you missed one of the coolest parts there, JJ.
I didn't even need them to fight.
No,
I
just
just
be there.
needed them to stand there, literally like how they do in Return of the Jedi. Even
Yeah,
when they added in Anakin,
yep,
or whatever. It's like that's all I needed, and they couldn't even do that.
yep.
And it's not like everyone's dead, or it was going to be hard to bring all those people together. Like they obviously got the voices somehow, or they did something.
I think one of the problems is though they have voices of people in there who are cartoon characters
Well, I
because you
mean,
can't have cartoon Ahsoka standing next to live action like Obi-Wan.
well then you could have just not had them talk. Maybe only have a couple talk, or so then you could have just had. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I get like it's a
I
cartoon
get that.
character,
So like
but they could have made them look human for the
they could
movie.
have done a live action version of her, I
Yeah,
guess. But
like
I guess they were probably like, well, we can't have the same actor who voices Ahsoka be
yeah. Well, that's why I'm
there.
saying you just get somebody that looks like her just to stand there.
Yeah.
Not talk at all. But I missed opportunity.
Yes.
All right, continue.
All right. So I'm sorry. After Rise of
Are
Skywalker,
you gonna say? Are you gonna say Rogue One?
I am gonna say Rogue One.
That is a savage, and I get that it's just a side movie.
It's not even it's a side movie. So here's a true story.
Okay.
Um, when Rogue One came out, when it came out on Blu-ray, I bought it. I watched it with my dad,
Okay.
and then a couple years later, Rogue One was on TV, and he was like, "Oh, Rogue One's on TV. I haven't seen that one." And I was like,
Yikes.
"Yeah, you did." And I was like, and he was like, I was like, "I did." And he's like, "Oh yeah, they all die at the end." And he's like, "I literally remember nothing about that movie." And then we watched Rogue One again, and we were both like, "Good movie." And I was like, "Oh, that was really enjoyable." And then later we were talking about it, and I'm like, I haven't thought about that movie a single time since it ended.
That's fair.
That's the one
But
problem I had.
that
Like,
doesn't stop it from being a solid
it's a
movie,
solid
though.
movie, but like, it is not memorable to me.
Okay, that's fair.
And I've seen it like 3 or 4 times now since it came out in theaters.
Hmm.
And each time I enjoy it, but I just never remember it. It's
Okay,
just forgettable to me.
that's fair.
Like the
You
action
you
is
remember Attack of Clones is more memorable in that movie.
maybe because I watched Attack of the Clones a lot as a kid or something,
Mm.
but it's just I don't know. I just don't remember it well. Like not even that I don't remember it. I just never think about it.
Okay.
Like if you ask me about it, I remember things that happen and whatever. It's not like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, I can't remember, but when I'm just thinking about Star Wars, it never crosses my mind.
Okay, that's fair. All right, move
But it's a well-made movie and it's a good movie that I enjoyed watching.
on. Yeah.
Next is The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, that was a neat explanation.
I don't
I get that.
It's the same thing.
Sure.
And then right after that's Last Jedi.
Okay.
Next is Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
Then The Phantom Menace.
Nice.
then Revenge of the Sith,
Nice.
then A New Hope,
Return of the Jedi Empire? Or Empire Return of the Jedi?
Empire, Return of the Jedi.
Why Return of the Jedi over Empire?
Um, I mean, those two are very close to me, but I pick Return of the Jedi over Empire. Just well for
Just because it ended it all well.
yeah, and that because I like the ending a lot. I like that Anakin's redeemed. I like that he picks up the Emperor and throws him over the Death Star thing.
hmm
There's
And then he comes back.
yeah, and then he comes back
Somehow,
somehow.
somehow.
You know, because he landed on a piece of debris.
But who are we to know?
He
Yeah.
space surfed that explosion out of there.
Right.
Somehow was breathing in space, and it was all fine.
Yep.
No, and I mean, as we've seen recently with things like Game of Thrones and Rise of Skywalker, finales are hard.
Yep.
So I feel like that's sometimes a thing people screw up a lot, and I don't know. I always just ended up liking that one a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I like them both a lot.
Even those Jawas dancing at the end? Are those Jawas? No.
Ewoks.
Ewoks. I was getting confused. Are Jawas the ones with the hoods?
Yeah.
Sorry.
And
the big like weird machine thing they drive around?
Yeah.
Which
I don't know. They're both really good, but it's I mean the original trilogy to me feels more like one big movie almost.
Yeah.
So but I don't know. Those two are
well, yeah, and the prequel trilogy is kind of separated because years pass and
but
age.
The reason I put the prequel trilogy, all three of them above the Disney movies, is because they connect and they go together.
And they had a singular vision.
Yeah, and like rewatching them, like when the sequel trilogy was coming out, and like even before Rise of Skywalker came out, I still was like, I like Last Jedi and Force Awakens more than like Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. But then like rewatching them, like all together, I was like, there's so much stuff in these trilogies that just become
also
nothing.
The prequel trilogy also expands Star Wars.
Yes.
In so many different ways, and I feel like the sequel trilogy did none of that.
Especially when I watched them like back to back, I felt like I was watching almost like another version of the original trilogy again.
Right.
And just like a less good version.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know there's problems with the prequel trilogy.
Yeah. A lot of it is corny.
Yes.
A lot of the dialogue is bad.
And like I know people hate on Hayden Christensen or whatever. I don't know if it's necessarily his fault. I think a lot of the acting choices were direction of George Lucas, like wanting the character to be a certain way. And I completely understand why he wanted the character to be that way.
I feel like when you watch Clone Wars, you'll see Anakin and you'll be like, this is how I remember him in my mind. Like if you hadn't seen the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy for a while, he would appear to you as how you imagined or like remembered him.
Well, he's more like charismatic and stuff in that. Right?
Yeah, he's a lot more personality.
I feel like it's a little weird because one of the things I notice is kind of one of the flaws of the prequel trilogy, but also I understand why it's in there. Is he's kind of
dead inside because he becomes Darth Vader later?
Yeah, well, he's like a socially like kind of all over the place person.
Yeah.
Where like he's really powerful and he can be a nice guy, but he has like these anger issues, and he also kind of acts like a kid when he's like, "It's not fair. Obi-Wan's holding me back." I'm like, "You sound like a baby," but at the same time, you're like, "That's the kind of person that would become Darth Vader." If he was someone who had like everything's going cool for Anakin, he's just some cool, awesome dude. I'd be like, "Why are you turning evil then?"
Yeah, I mean, I can't say anything because I haven't finished Clone Wars.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how he.
So I don't know how he is, but you remember that Clone Wars TV show that was the like 2D animated one?
I never watched that.
No, that was actually it's not canon anymore. This new Clone Wars show got rid of it, but I remember liking that one more. And Anakin was like pretty dark in that show.
Really?
Where he was like a lot darker in that show than he is apparently in the new one. And I think George Lucas had more to do with that show than he does this one.
That makes sense.
Because that actually came out before Revenge of the Sith, I think. That's a fun show. It was very short, but fun show.
But yeah, good list. Because but yeah, the prequel trilogy, like George Lucas, he had a vision and he pulled it off.
Yeah,
he did that vision for the most part. It wasn't perfect, but he did it.
I understand if people don't like it, but I just like that he did his thing and it all connects. And you
Hmm.
watch the original trilogy, and even if there's like a little bit of continuity errors between them,
Hmm.
they're basically like flows into the original trilogy pretty perfectly. Where like the sequel trilogy just kind of
It all
it,
feels very separate.
and it also feels like it just fell kind of flat at the like by the end of it all. Like
Yeah,
rewatching all of them, I'm like, even in Force Awakens, I'm like, what could have been is nothing.
yeah.
And in
And
the
that and we have to live with this now.
yeah,
There's no going back. We
and in
watched it with our eyes.
the
It's in our
last the
heads.
Last Jedi, even if you go, well, Ryan Johnson had no direction, so he just made what he wanted to make.
Yeah.
When they go to uh, Rise of Skywalker, it's like, well, we didn't really care for the Last Jedi, so we're just gonna retcon or just kind of pretend like a lot of things in that movie didn't happen. And
Yeah.
we're just gonna
It's like, well, if you didn't care for it, you should have said something.
yeah. If there were things that you didn't like about it while making it,
Yeah.
you should have said something. Or if JJ wanted things done a certain way, he should have taken the offer and made all three.
You should have. But he didn't
Yeah,
because he couldn't be bothered. What did he do when he didn't do that?
I
What
think
did
he produced some things.
he didn't direct anything
I don't know.
between that time? There wasn't much time between Force and
I can look it up.
yeah, there wasn't much time between Force Awakens and the Rise of Skywalker. But yeah, bringing back the Emperor.
I mean, I know that's because they killed Snoke, probably. But I think
Yeah,
Ryan Johnson's plan was Kylo Ren to be the big bad guy.
they should have just kind of went with that,
Because I think he was like, well, Darth Vader was redeemed. So if you redeem Kylo Ren at the end, it just seems like you're doing the same thing,
which they ended up
which
doing,
they ended up doing. So
and in a definitely worse way
yeah,
and cringe way.
I saw something that was like, um, okay, he didn't direct anything.
Okay.
He was a producer on some things though. He
Yeah,
produced
he did
10
the
Cloverfield Lane,
yeah.
Star
Ooh, that's
Trek
a good movie.
Beyond,
Oh, okay.
The Last Jedi,
Okay.
Cloverfield Paradox,
Uh-huh.
Mission Impossible Fallout,
Oh, good movie.
and Overlord, which we never saw.
Which one was Overlord?
It was supposed to be part of the
Oh,
Cloverfield
that's
world, but then
right.
it didn't end up being.
That's right. The Nazi movie.
Yeah,
I always wanted to see that.
and then we didn't get to see it because that was the week that a bunch of fires started by our house,
That's
and we
right.
couldn't go to the theater,
Yeah. God damn.
and we still haven't seen it.
I don't know where it is, honestly. I don't think it's on
I
like
don't think I've
Netflix or
ever seen
anything.
it on Netflix.
It'll come out. It'll be somewhere one day.
I think I had something important to say about JJ, and then I got sidetracked by Overlord, which I haven't seen. But I don't know. I mean, all the Star Wars movies on a whole, I enjoyed them all. So
Yeah, they all have good moments.
there's no like, I hate this movie, even if like I go, well, there's a lot of things I don't like in The Rise of Skywalker. Like when I watched it, I was still like, I'm having a good time with this. Like I wasn't bored really, and I
Yeah.
wasn't like, oh,
There's just a lot of things you're like, why?
this is a lot of things I'm like, it's just this is kind of dumb or
Yeah.
whatever. It's just
If you turn your brain off and watch it, it's
it's
decent
fine.
Star Wars fun. Still no good lightsaber battle.
No,
Not really. I
honestly,
can't remember one except between Rey and Kylo, and it wasn't great.
I think Rise of Skywalker has the worst maybe of the trilogy, and that's when it should be at its best.
Yeah, very sad.
Yes.
So let's go to this week's or last week's bet.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
So Kylo Ren and his redemption. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
I don't. There's no. I don't know why he like decides to change sides because the movie doesn't really tell you. Like in Return of the Jedi, there's one singular reason why Darth Vader chooses to turn against the Emperor, and it's because he loves his son
Right.
or whatever. I mean, that's deeper than that or whatever, but that's like the base reason. And then, but in Rise of Skywalker, it's well, is it because he has feelings for Rey? Is it because he feels bad about what he did for his dad?
Yeah.
Or is it because of his mom?
And you're
And
never.
the
It's never
movie
clear.
just kind of goes,
All those things.
whichever
maybe.
one you like is the one you get.
Yeah. It's all those
you can
things.
just
Maybe.
decide.
Yeah.
It's either it's maybe all of them, it's maybe none of them. We don't know. They don't really tell you. It
They're
just
like,
kind of happens.
just take this ending, and you'll like it.
Yeah.
And we're like, we don't. We're like, well, you'll like it.
Yeah.
It's too bad. That's how it ended.
Also, I've heard that novel is kind of written like a young adult novel.
That's kind of gross. But now we can look forward to, I guess, what is it called? Like High Republic?
which is the comic series that they're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are also going to be, I think, movies.
Oh,
Like they're gonna like,
because I watched their announcement thing and they basically just said it was going to be like comics
yeah.
and novels.
But I think like they're gonna build off stuff from that. I think they're trying to get away from all of this.
I also think they want to
You know,
test the water probably with the comics and be like, do people like this?
yeah, just get away from Skywalker as much as we can now.
And you know what's sad about the new trilogy is I
Yeah,
like all of the cast. I like Daisy Ridley a lot, and I
yeah.
like John Boyega, who I wish became a Jedi.
Like he was, I guess, kind of being primed to.
Yep.
We did get to see him use it in the first movie, and then he just never did again.
But I feel like his whole thing in the first movie was like a misdirect, so people didn't know Rey was going to
Yeah.
be the Jedi.
That's the whole. That's the whole thing. This trilogy's been just misdirects and
Yeah,
you know
this whole trilogy has
trying to pull the carpet out from under people. It's
been
like,
about withholding information.
yeah,
And JJ did the same thing in Lost.
it just hurt everybody.
And I haven't really seen that much of Lost, but I know I've seen a little bit of it, and I know a lot of people have seen the entire thing,
Mm-hmm.
and were not very satisfied as it went on.
Get better endings, JJ.
And I feel like I've heard JJ say he's afraid to like open the mystery box because he thinks people will lose interest, like once it's revealed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Star Wars; people are gonna come anyway.
Yeah,
Just tell a good, fun story.
yeah. Come on, JJ. So last week's bet. Now this is going to be different because Hunter might not be with us for a little bit.
We don't know.
We don't know yet. So
We don't even know if we'll be doing this for too long.
yes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to continue the bets, and then when Hunter eventually does come back, I will think of something. I have not thought of it yet, but it's going to be probably a little bit, so I have time to think about it.
Yeah.
So we're just going to continue.
What was the bet from last week?
So last week
Oh, I remember. It was about Doom, right?
Yes, we bet how many 10 out of 10s will Doom Eternal receive, and
I have no idea who won.
and what will be its IGN score.
I think I got that right.
I looked it up earlier, but I'm gonna do it again
Yeah, okay.
because it might have changed because I looked at it in the morning.
IGN did give it a 9, though, right?
Yes, so
Hunter and I both guessed 9.
yes, and then I guess 10. So you both got that 1 point. We're gonna do 2 points. You both got that 1 point.
Good job, Hunter. High five, even though you're not here.
Hunter, he high-fived the air where you would be sitting, I guess, even though he's actually sitting in your spot.
Well, I figured better if we just looked at each
Oh
other.
yeah, no.
But
That would be weird if we were like, next to each other. Hold on 1 second. I saw it. I know I did. Okay. So, I'm going to click on critic reviews here.
is this, was it Metacritic?
Yeah, this is going by Metacritic because it's the easiest way to see everybody's scores. And
How
so
many
these
did
are
we guess? You guessed like 8 or something? Or 10 or whatever? I guess like 5? You guessed 3?
Yes. So what I have here, let me make sure I'm doing this right. I think this is all in order. Some of them, okay, so the thing is, some of the, even IGN's score is not fully done because they only did the campaign.
Right, because they haven't done the multiplayer.
I don't know, yeah. Sometimes it takes them a week to do the whole thing because they want to try out multiplayer in depth just to make sure.
Well, I guess if it changes drastically, we can come back.
But yeah, usually it doesn't. So we're just gonna go by what what
also,
they give.
I don't know if you noticed, but because you haven't played it yet, but from reviews, have they are they saying this is better than the first one?
Well, its Metacritic is in the 70s, the first one, and this one is in 88.
So the first one's in the 70s, this is it.
Yeah, so they're saying this one's better, I assume.
Okay. I mean, that's what you thought it was going to be too.
Better than the first one, yeah.
You get a sword in this game or something? I know there's the chainsaw, right?
Yeah, you do. I don't know. I don't really know much because I'm trying to not look at any spoilers because I don't want it.
Well, I already spoiled Neo 2 for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to fight William.
Well, that spoiled for me. So
they kind of spoil him coming back in the trailer.
It's in the trailer, so I figured you see him in the trailer.
Yeah. So from what I see here, there's only 2 10 out of 10s.
Okay. I think Hunter won then.
Which I saw more earlier, but I think people changed their scores because they were probably all in flux. By date. Yeah, I think this is because there's 22 scores right now, and I only see 2 100s. Let me just kind of scroll through this really quick just to make sure, but it looks like Yeah. So there's two of them, and then you guys both got that point. So Hunter got that one, right?
How many did we guess?
Hunter guessed 3, you guessed 5, I guessed 8.
Okay.
So Hunter
So
got
Hunter
it.
wins.
So Hunter gets 2 points. And then you get 1, and then I get 0.
I almost had just a weird temptation to like move the levels on our sound mixer right now.
Why?
I don't know. I was just looking at like the little uh, things that you push,
Mm-hmm.
and I just really wanted to push one for some reason.
Just to fool around with it?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to do this week's bet. Sometimes these bets are hard to come up with. When something's not coming out, I have a hard time. But here we go. This is another Doom one, okay?
Okay.
This is called...
How fast will Hunter get the platinum?
That's a good bet. And you know what? Let's make it on the side.
Okay.
Let's add that to this. This will be another two-parter for us.
We'll find out if Hunter listens to this because he'll text us if.
He's like, now I'm gonna take my time.
Or he'll be like, "Who's my competition in bets?"
He'll be like, I already finished.
He'll be like, "Who has more points? I want them to lose."
Right now it is 3-2-1 Hunter, Sean, me.
Okay.
So this week's bet will be, what will the trophy percentage be for the Once and Future Slayer, which is complete the campaign on any difficulty?
For next week?
In Doom Eternal, yeah. So what will it be next Thursday?
I feel like you have maybe a leg up on this because you know how many hours the game might be compared to regular.
Well, I can tell you how many hours it is.
Okay.
I want to say 17-ish.
Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, I should really play these Doom games.
But I mean, apparently this game's like pretty hard. Which I like this difficulty, but they're really throwing a lot of hard stuff at us right now. And I feel like Final Fantasy is going to be kind of difficult in some areas too.
I like my hard games, like obviously because I'm playing Neo 2 right now. I've played Sekiro. I've played Bloodborne.
We like to relax a little bit sometimes.
But sometimes I just want a nice, chill game where I don't think about, am I going to die every time I can meet someone new?
Mm-hmm.
And I clearly must like hard games because I just said I want to replay Kingdom Hearts 3 on the hardest difficulty. I told you that before we started recording.
We love to get punished. In a not weird way. But we like to get punished in our games.
Yeah. This is really random, but you can edit this out if you want. You ever played that game Blasphemy?
No, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, because I heard it was similar to like those Castlevania games or whatever. Yeah. And I know you had played some of those.
Yeah, I've heard about it. I actually never gotten around to it.
Okay, well, that answers my question.
But I heard it's really good. All right, so we're guessing the percentage for this.
Okay.
I will go first.
Okay.
Let's see. Everyone gets it this weekend by next Thursday.
I feel like a decent amount could be done with it.
It could be, yeah. It is kind of on the longer side, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 12%.
Okay. Okay. This is difficult because I feel like you'll probably have beaten it
by next Thursday. But
I know
there's a chance I won't.
Maybe, but I also feel like there's a decent amount of people who like, when you
also everyone's quarantined.
That's true. So, everyone is quarantined.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 18.
That's a good guess.
I was gonna say a little higher, but I think I'm gonna go 18.
Okay. I'm gonna put that down. All right. So we're gonna do it's gonna be a two-part about it. We're gonna guess if Hunter platinums it, or let's guess when.
When he platinums it?
Yeah. So let's do it by days.
Okay. So this today.
The platinum though. Hold on. Let me pull up the list.
Because the multiplayer trophies are going to be the one.
They're I already looked at these multiplayer trophies. Good thing I didn't get really that spoiled because I had to look it up for this. Remember I did that for God of War in our previous Movie Mates podcast?
Yep. And you found out that the Blades of Chaos?
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
It's okay, I found that out too. But you know what? It didn't make the game any less good.
No, it didn't. And the moment you get them, awesome.
I didn't know that. I didn't know how you were going to get them.
Yeah. Which isn't important.
That's a great game.
It was. So let's see. It looks like a lot of story ones that you'll get automatically. There's like easy ones. There's like complete a mission with the famine mode cheat on, or finish or complete extra life mode with 10 extra lives, upgrade your health and armor, fully upgrade it in a single save slot, complete your suit, purchase all suit perks. So I mean that's all probably pretty easy. Um, but it does look like you need to either do this your first time around or you got to play it again.
Okay.
So depending on if Hunter beats it and plays it again.
Well, okay. Here's a random question. You ever been on those websites? It's like PlayStation trophies dot whatever,
Yeah, it
and
shows you the percentage of.
well, and there's like, but it's like a trophy guide where it tells you like the difficulty of like the trophy of getting the platinum and like how many hours to get the platinum.
Hmm.
Um, if there's like one of those, that could really change our mind here. Which that probably hasn't been made yet because the game's not really out. Um,
Yeah.
so that
I
probably
mean,
wouldn't show up the next couple days.
yeah, complete all Slayer gates, master all weapon mods, complete all the physical codec, acquire like unmaker. I guess it's like probably a weapon or some secret thing. The thing is, it says there's like about 5 for battle mode, which is the multiplayer. Kill 200 opponents.
That's a lot.
That's kind of a lot.
I think I really don't know because I don't know how fast you'll be killing enemies in battle mode.
Yeah.
You would know better than
Oh,
me.
here's one. Play 25 battle mode matches. So this is a lot more in depth than the.
Because the first one didn't have that
No,
much.
there's like 3, and you can do them in like an hour.
Okay.
This is gonna take some time. Kill a player demon with each of the 8 Slayer weapons in battle mode. Play as 5 different player demons in battle mode. Do 5,000 damage as a player demon. Yikes! I don't know if this is a 2-day platinum.
I don't think he'll do it in 2 days, but you would know better than me because you know what more of those things mean than I do. But
I mean,
I don't know. Do you have a guess? Because I can throw something out random here.
I'm gonna say. Watch him listen to this and just be like, "I'm gonna put it away now," and then do the
He's gonna be
platinum.
like, I'm gonna start playing Death Stranding again.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm gonna do the platinum in 2 months now," but screw it. I'm gonna say a couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
it's these multiplayer ones that may stop him.
how do we determine a couple weeks?
What do you mean?
Well, so
Oh, okay. So let's say here. How about we'll do it by a certain time.
okay.
So or by a certain date. So I'll say he does it. Let's say I'm gonna say.
Watch him never get the platinum.
No, that's
It's
entirely
very
possible. But I'm gonna say by April 10th.
Okay.
We'll do it by that.
I'm gonna believe in Hunter, and I'm gonna say he's gonna do it faster.
It's true roll. Oh,
you can change it. I haven't said anything.
I want to change it. I'm gonna say he may really like the game though. I can't tell what he's going to say about the multiplayer.
You never know. You never know what Hunter's gonna
Let's
say.
go with April 1st.
Okay. I'm going to say March 29th.
So that'll be next Sunday.
Yep.
I
believe in you, Hunter.
You can give Sean that win. And then you said March 29th. Right?
Yep.
And that'll be Sunday. All right. We'll see how Hunter does. And that's pretty much it for the podcast. I forgot to mention I played I played Life is Strange 2.
Oh, how was that?
It was good. I don't think it was. You played the first one, right?
Nope.
You didn't? Wait, you just played the prequel?
Yeah.
What?
So a friend of mine told me it was better to play the prequel first, even though I didn't really know anything about Life is Strange. So he was like, I want to borrow a game from you. I'll let you borrow a game. And I was like, sure. And then he was like, you want Life is Strange? And I was like, sure, why not? So I took Life is Strange, and it was the prequel. And he was like, no, it's better to play that one first. And he also didn't have a disc version
Right.
of the first one, so he just gave me the prequel. And I played it, and it was pretty fun. But
Mhm.
I was still like, "Who's this person?" And they're like, "Oh, you find that out in the first game." Like, and I was like, "Why wouldn't I play that first then?"
Sometimes it's better to play the
So,
prequel as intended to be played, which is after the first game.
well, because speaking of Star Wars, I would never tell someone to watch the movies in chronological order
Hmm.
if they haven't seen them.
Hmm.
I'd say if you've seen them all, watch them in chronological order.
Hmm.
But if you haven't seen them, watch them in the order they came out.
Right. Um,
Should I play the first one?
yes, you should definitely play the first one. The second one I don't think is as good as the first, but it's still pretty good.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I've got time
yeah,
now.
you do.
Maybe.
Definitely play the first one.
Yeah,
Well, I
as
mean,
long. I did.
did you have a
Um,
passing interest in that one?
yeah, it was good. I
Yeah.
found out at the end
Well,
of the game, I made because it tells you like the decisions you make and like it compares your decisions to your friends.
yeah.
I out of all of our friends who played it, I made like the opposite decision at the end of the game.
Was mine shown on there?
Yeah,
Did you make opposite decisions of what I did?
it was like you, Hunter, and another one of our friends. Um,
Do you remember what I did?
so it was the very end of the game. Spoilers for Life is Strange, the prequel, whatever
Uh-huh.
it's called. What's the main character?
Chloe?
Chloe, and then Rachel's the friend, right?
Right.
Um, so you as Chloe, you find out the secret about like Rachel's dad and
Uh,
something like that, and then he's like, "Don't tell Rachel; it'll kill her or whatever." So you have to go to the hospital where Rachel is and make the decision whether to keep it from her and
mhm,
try and spare her from like the truth, or tell her the truth.
mhm.
Which like if you don't tell her, like she gets to keep the relationship with her father or something.
Right.
But if you tell her, then it ruins the relationship with her father.
Did you tell her?
I told her, and apparently no one else told her. Well, I looked up like
Savage.
the global percentage was like close to 50-50.
Yeah.
But like all of our friends, no one told her. But I was
That's
like, oh no.
interesting. Mhm.
But like it worked out well because like it shows what happens afterwards.
Uh-huh.
And like Rachel and Chloe, like they stay good friends and like hang out a bunch. She just like doesn't talk to her
Nice.
dad.
Um, yeah, so the second game is a lot like the first.
This
And
doesn't
it
involve the first game's character, right?
no, but
What's that character's
in
name again? It's a girl, right?
yeah, she's
And
Chloe's friend,
that's right. And what's her name?
Max, I think.
Okay, and she takes pictures, right?
Yeah,
Because I remember like getting the trophies in the prequel, you like
yeah,
had to write on things with Sharpie,
yeah.
and
So in this game, it's instead of that, it's like the character does drawings.
okay,
So you get to like kind of he'll sit down and you get to look at like landscape, and then you can like draw it or whatever.
wait, is this related to that one game? I think it was similar, where it's like the kid and he like wore the like little cape.
Captain Spirit.
Yeah, that game.
Yeah, it is. So like
Are they related or is it just same makers?
well, both.
Okay,
It is related to that story. So you come across that kid in the second episode. Um, that's kind of like a prequel to like that whole story. But it's like two brothers and they I mean it's kind of spoilers in the beginning, but their dad dies. So they have to go on this whole adventure and they're like accused of like him of killing a police officer who was right there, but the police officer actually like shot the dad and then so they're accused because his brother has powers, his little brother has powers. Kind of like in there's like weird kind of supernatural stuff happening in Life is Strange. I don't know if it happens in Before the Storm, but
not really.
in the first one it kind of happens. So
Is
his
that why Life's Strange?
yes.
Because I remember texting you about the prequel, and I'm like, why is this called Life is Strange? It should be called Life Seems Pretty Normal, or something
No,
like that.
it's because of that stuff in the first one.
Okay.
The main character is Sean Diaz,
Oh, it's
spelled like
me.
your name, yeah, spelled exactly like your name, and then his little
My
brother.
last name's not Diaz.
Well, I know, but it's spelled Sean.
Okay.
Sean. Not any other way. All the like 10 other ways you can spell Sean, I guess.
Yeah, I saw something that was like how all the different Seans yawn, and it was like SHW,
Oh yeah,
and like he like yawns normally. And
yeah,
it's like got to my name, and it was like YE like
yeah,
AN,
yeah. Yeen.
and I'm like that killed me.
But yeah, Sean and then his brother Daniel who has like these powers, and so like you're basically running from the cops the whole game, and then
What kind of power?
he can basically kind of just do force stuff. Like
So
he
like
can. It's just basically force powers.
he's kind of like a psychic.
Kind of. He
So
uses his hands.
is he like 11 in Stranger Things?
Yeah,
Okay,
for the most part.
without the nosebleed, I'm assuming.
Yes, without the nosebleed. And I mean, the power like takes a toll on him, but it's not like it's not like that kind of thing where like every time he uses it, he's like, passed out. Um,
11's nosebleeds way too much in that show. Like even at little things they have her like wipe her nose or whatever. I'm like, you should have gotten good at it by now. Stop making your nose bleed, kid.
But nah, but it's good. I like it a lot, and I just felt like Life is Strange one is like kind of more emotional. This one is more of an adventure. Like there's like emotional moments, but like you're being kind of like shuffled along to so many different like places that each episode kind of feels like separated from each other, even though it is one big story. Just because like it feels like there's always like days and weeks between each like episode. So
Yeah.
I'll like end the first. I mean, obviously, like how this came out, like there was months between each episode in real life. But when I played it, it's all in one order. So I play the first episode, and all of a sudden it's like 2 months later, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what
It's
happened?
like when
What
you're
happened?
binge watching like a TV show and you like go to the
Yeah,
next season and it's like, a couple months later and you're like,
yeah.
it's been a day for me.
And it's not like because Life is Strange takes place in a school, so
Yeah.
it's not like they can be like, oh, past 2 months nothing really happened, you know. But like these two brothers are on the run, so it's like one continuous story, and I'm like, well, what happened in those last 2 months?
Yeah. How
Like
old are
like
these brothers?
so the one was in high school and the one was in like probably middle school or
Oh,
elementary. So he was like the Sean is the oldest and he's like 17, maybe almost 18, and then his little brother's like 9 or 10.
okay.
So and his brother's like confused and doesn't know what's going on in the beginning and but yeah, I just thought it was kind of weird because there was like time jumps and like you'll get to look at his notebook and it'll show kind of what happened and he drew like pictures and wrote stuff down so you can kind of see what happened in between those times. But
Yeah.
it was kind of weird to like not have it all be like one continuous thing. Um, but it's good. You should definitely play the first one and the second one is
Well, if I can get my hands on the first one,
easy platinum.
Yep.
Very easy.
Gotta get those
I already
platinums.
platinumed the second one.
Okay.
I
How
had
many platinums do you have now?
76.
You have more than me
I do.
by just a lot.
Hmm. But you probably have the second place.
No, another one of our friends has like
Oh, well,
60 something. So I'm in third.
that's true. Yeah, that is
I have
true.
more than Hunter.
You do.
Hunter has a good amount though. He has like 20, I think.
Maybe he'll catch up now.
Maybe he will.
You got to keep ahead of him. Got to get that Neo 2 platinum.
It's gonna be. It's doable. I've looked it up, but
Yeah.
it will just take a while,
Yeah.
and the game will just continue to be hard.
Do you have to beat it on a hard difficulty?
No, there's no.
There's no difficulty.
There's no. You don't have to do a new game plus either.
Right. All right. Well, that's it for the
Um,
podcast this
I
week.
have a thing before we go.
All right.
With everyone having to stay at home.
Listen to the podcast.
Yes. Well, do that.
Mhm.
Listen to the podcast. Send us a letter. Handwrite it if you want, or send us a comment, a text, or whatever.
Because we'll be bored.
Yeah. But for all the people who are bored, why don't we recommend a thing that they should watch or read or play?
Okay. You go first.
I'm gonna recommend that if anyone who hasn't seen it should watch Parks and Rec.
Oh my God, yes.
Because I finished that. I watched it for the first time recently. Finished it like month and a half ago, maybe, or month ago. I don't know. And very good show. You should watch it.
Parks and Rec is good.
I feel like it's underrated,
especially
too.
if you like The Office. Don't let that one go.
Because I feel like everyone talks about The Office, and the Parks and Rec I feel like goes a little bit unnoticed sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be funnier.
I feel like honestly, if I had to pick a favorite, I might say Parks and Rec, just because like Office has that section like after Michael leaves that I feel like the show kind of
Parks and Rec is solid all the way through.
Yeah, Parks and Rec is just solid all the way through. They're both great shows.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't seen either one, watch them. But I'm going to recommend Parks and Rec because I feel like it doesn't get enough love.
If I had to recommend a show, I would recommend actually Better Call Saul. Okay. If you watched Breaking Bad, watch the show. You won't regret it, I guarantee you. And I don't really have a game to recommend. Yeah. I recommend everyone play The Last of Us before it comes out, before the second one comes out.
I have a game to recommend, and this is not going to be for a lot of you, but it will take you a long time to beat. I'm going to recommend Persona 5.
Oh, yes. Play that game.
It's a great game. Even if you look at it...
Buy the Royal version.
Yeah, buy the new version.
Have a good time.
Even if you look at it and you go, this looks like a bunch of anime stuff, and it looks weird, I don't want to play it. and you're like,
You
oh,
won't be
it's
disappointed.
just about going to Japanese high school or whatever. It's a great game.
Yeah.
I was hesitant about playing it first, and
So
it
was I.
is maybe in my top 10 of
Yeah.
all time.
I took the plunge. I think we both did kind of at the same time, right?
Yeah, around the same time we
Yeah.
started playing it.
And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna play this game.
Yeah,
And
honestly, I really want to play the new one, even though it'll be like another 100 hours of my life.
well, we may have that amount of time.
We
I
might.
honestly considered it like the other day. I was like, maybe I'll have enough time for that.
Maybe,
You
yeah.
know?
Is it $60?
It is though. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can pay for that game again.
I don't know. A friend of mine said he'd let me borrow it, but also I'm not really supposed to leave my house.
Yeah,
None
there's
of us
that.
are.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
it for the podcast this week, and we'll maybe see you next week for
Hopefully we'll be back next week. We'll
Yeah.
see how things
for a topic I
Things
don't
go.
really know about yet.
If you
but-
guys have a topic in mind, send it to us.
Yeah, and let us know what your ranking of the Star Wars movies
Yeah, I'm
is.
sorry I put Rogue One. I'm sorry I put them where I put them if they were different from yours.
Ah, you broke my heart, Sean. That's fine. All right, we'll see you guys later.
All right, thanks for watching.